This is Angela with Progress Permaculture. It is a 100-degree day here in Portland, Oregon in Zone 9A, and I'm in my nice and cool basement. So I want to take a little bit different take for this video. Permaculture is not just gardening, right? So in permaculture, we have 3 ethics: earth care, people care, and fair share. And we use those ethics and the 12 principles to guide us not only in our garden design in order to have not only sustainable, but like regenerative garden design, but we use it in all other aspects of life, from designing our communities, our infrastructure, to designing our homes, etc., etc. And one of the 12 principles of permaculture is produce no waste. I take all of the principles very seriously and try to apply them as best I can with the limitations that I have, depending on where I live and what my resources and my own physical capabilities are. I try to use those 12 principles as much as I possibly can. So why am I standing in my tiny basement bathroom? Tiny. That is obviously gutted. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that we had some water leakage here. Let me explain how that happened. Very small bathroom. I think the square footage for the floor is like 31 square feet. So a sink here, there was a cheap IKEA sink here before, and we had water running under the drain pan and all under the tile that was here that took me forever to chip up. And it basically destroyed all of the chipboard, the cheap chipboard, and then ran under this plain drywall because they didn't use green board. Ran under this plain drywall and rotted the drywall on this side and the other side of the wall. So we had to gut this entire bathroom. And as with many things in this house, it was done by folks who said they wanted it to be their forever home, but they really were flippers. And a lot of things were done, forgive my language, incredibly half-assed. And everywhere we've had to do repairs, we have found the ways that things were just covered up, things were hidden, things were done sloppily, they were done with the wrong materials. So again, they used just plain old cheap drywall. They didn't use cement board. They didn't use green board. They didn't use the appropriate materials for a small, wet basement space without a good fan, without good ventilation. In the Pacific Northwest, right, where basements are already damp, I don't know if you can hear, it's loud in my basement, but our air conditioner is going, but also our dehumidifier runs 24/7. All this water damage, we actually had it a year ago, but I was so busy dealing with my dad's passing and his funeral and getting his house on the market that we just patched the leaks in the shower, knowing that there was damage, including mold, under the tile and in the drywall, and we didn't get around to fixing it until a year later because that's life, and that's the way it is. That's real life, right? So we're trying to DIY this. I have had a budget set aside for over a year for this express purpose, and we are just now getting around to it. But I want to use permaculture, especially the principle of produce no waste, and think about being very intentional in my design, because home renovations, home improvements are a huge source of waste. They're a huge source of manufacturing new goods, a huge source of shipping, carbon output, usage of water and gasoline, etc., etc., etc. Now there's an element here where I cannot avoid sending things into the waste stream. We have the Rebuilding Center here in Portland, where we got a few things, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But if you are doing home renovations here, you can actually do deconstruction instead of demolition, and things that can be repurposed go to the Rebuilding Center. Well, we can't send moldy drywall and moldy studs to the Rebuilding Center. So any of the studs that were moldy and were not pressure treated, we composted those. But the drywall has to go to the dump, and the old shower that was all broken in plastic, it can't be recycled, it has to go to the dump. So I want to be intentional in the way that I'm designing, while also using appropriate building techniques and materials this time. So that meant we had to buy some new supplies like cement board, like green board, but that I'm trying to source as much as possible used on Craigslist or free off of free pages or at the Rebuilding Center. So let me show you some of the things that I've gotten that way in order to make sure that no new goods are manufactured, right? I'm trimming my budget. In fact, I'm running almost $2,500 below budget so far. And not only that, but I'm making sure that there's no new packaging, that materials that otherwise might go in the waste stream, I'm using them in my basement. It's terrible, and we're literally in my basement next to the water heater, and the dehumidifier is running. But this is all of the tile I have gotten off Craigslist. So all of the white subway tile. And then I got a bunch of this, basically bullnose in blue, although it was all supposed to be blue, but unfortunately, some of it is, well, it looks blue in this light, but some of it is gray. So it's not all exactly the same color, but I'm gonna use this And basically, hang on a second, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Oh, by the way, all of this tile was $115. So this is enough to tile the shower, and then a couple feet up the wall, I think between 3 feet and 3.5 feet up the wall. I haven't done the math yet. And then all of the trim. So this was 1/14 the cost of new, and these were about 1/8 the cost. Use the dirty mirror, I haven't cleaned this yet, but both of these cabinets here, I'll walk in here and show you, we got from the rebuilding center. They're all dusty and dirty still, but vintage, taken out of a house. And this one too, because there was no storage in this bathroom before at all. Hi. Previous owner just used plain cheap drywall everywhere in the bathroom, and we have used green board here, and around the shower we've used cement board, which by the way is a Dickens to cut. I have not taped and mudded yet. Weird part where the pipe, they couldn't get it in without doing a little bump out in the ceiling and the wall, so we're gonna have to come back and patch that, and then patch all this nonsense as well. This is where the light fixture is gonna go. I scrounged a light fixture out of my parents' house when we put in all new light fixtures to sell their house, as the realtor suggested. I kept a number of the light fixtures that we took out. The sink is gonna go here. I haven't decided if we are going to build a custom cabinet. So I'm thinking like, here's the shower, right? Shower. It's a very, very small bathroom. And I'm trying to decide what I wanna do with the sink here. I think I'm gonna build out a cabinet out of scrap lumber and then put a drop-in sink, and potentially, depending on how much tile is left, either tile with leftover subway tile, or because I'm, okay, better angle so you're not just staring at green board. Or because I like things kind of kitschy, I have a lot of broken blue and white china. I may do a little mosaic around the sink because I don't really care about resale value. I care about what I like in a house. So we'll see. I think that would give us an under sink storage, at least for things like, you know, plungers and extra toilet paper, maybe build a little shelf in there. Because again, you can see like this is the bathroom. This is it. It's tiny. It's tiny. It's tiny. Put a tiny, tiny shower in here, which is unfortunate because the people who use this bathroom are the boys, and they are big people, but that's the way it goes. So you can see the original drain pan was here, and they didn't install it properly. There's supposed to be either sand or cement or something under the drain pan for the shower. And the drain pan they got was the cheapest possible drain pan. And so all of this was hollow. And they filled it with some kind of cheap foam instead of the thin set or concrete that they should have used to level it and fill in the air gap. And you can see this one is much nicer, and it has all these little posts here, but we're still gonna level it with sand and thin set to make sure that it doesn't have that airspace. But because I had two very large men using our shower, it buckled this plastic because there was nothing underneath. There was nothing underneath, and so it bowed and cracked, and that allowed water to get in. You can see the stand-up job. There's the drain hole. We're gonna have to shave that pipe down. It's too tall for the new drain pan. But let me talk about new drain pan. So this is off Craigslist. It was new in the box. Someone bought it for home renovation and ended up using something different. The drain pan the previous owners used is still being sold from Home Depot for $119. The cheapest of the cheap, thin, flimsy. Again, that cavity underneath that they did not install properly to prevent cracking and breakage. This is a $450 shower drain pan. Much better quality, much thicker. New, it had the owner's manual in it, and I'm super thrilled that I got it for a little bit over 100 bucks. I think I paid $110 for it, and we didn't have to drive very far to pick it up. It was new in the box. Okay, so I still haven't found a sink. I can definitely get one at the rebuilding center. There's always tons, but I keep looking on Craigslist and keep shopping the rebuilding center because I don't have to buy it yet. I can keep looking for the perfect one. I originally thought maybe we would do a pedestal sink, but you know, Hal is 6'6.5" and Casey is 6'3". This is sorry, the light is in the shot. And so that means a pedestal sink, which typically runs between 29 and 29.5 inches, is too short. Our whole family is tall, and we already complain about like kitchen counters really should be 3 inches taller. So if I get a pedestal sink, I'd have to build a base and raise it up higher. And that makes me think maybe I just want to build a cabinet and do a drop-in sink and have more storage underneath, as long as I'm going to go to all that trouble of like building a pedestal and bolting the sink down. So we'll see. So my thought here is I have enough to tile the shower. Other things we have to get new, obviously, tape, mud, already purchased, thin set, and grout. Those are going to be new purchases, unless I can find grout off Craigslist that I will get maybe left over from somebody else's project, because again, this is a really small space. So my hope is that I can tile all of the shower all the way up, and then coming around here, this is where the toilet goes. We're going to reuse the same toilet. My hope is that I can tile up to, let me turn around here too, up to about here. I haven't exactly done the math. I'm going to tile up the shower first and then see how much of the white tile I have left. And that will dictate whether, you know, I have tile up to here or up to here, all the way around the bathroom, because then I think that will be easy to clean. Before I can tile the shower, I have to tile the floor. So the drain pan has to go in, taping, mudding, painting, the upper half has to happen, and then I'm gonna tile the floor. I had a Craigslist deal on tile I was super excited about that was 1/15 the price of new, and she ghosted me after agreeing to a price. And you have to be okay with, if you're sourcing things off Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, that like people will ghost you a significant percentage of the time. And often it's because like, oh, you know, I bargain real low. So immediately right out the bat, I'm like, will you take this, you know, will you take 50% of your asking price? And then we can negotiate up from there. And she took 80% of her asking price. And after she agreed to it, like then there was some hemming and hawing about getting together, and then she ghosted me. And I think like, you know, maybe, you know, I don't want to assume negative intent, but often in those situations, my presumption is that somebody came in and offered full price. So that's okay. It would have been a really nice charcoal gray hexagonal 1-inch tile, but I will keep looking. And if I have to buy a new tile, I have room in the budget because I'm so far, so below budget that I could buy new if I have to, but I don't want to. I want to get that little leftover bit from somebody else's project that otherwise would get thrown away. That would be just perfect for a floor this tiny, right? 29.5 square feet, I think. Thanks so much for watching today. When we think about permaculture, I would encourage us all to think about the ways that we can apply the 12 principles inside our home and in our communities as much, if not more, than in our garden, because permaculture is not gardening, and the principles are useful and helpful in all aspects of life. Principles can help us be true to our ethics of earth care, people care, and fair share in every way possible. We can't do any of it perfectly, but we can take small, approachable steps to do it as best as we can. And for me, that means sourcing as much as I can here. Okay, thanks so much again for watching today. Please do not forget to click like and subscribe. And also, if you're interested in supporting this channel with a little bit here and there, I have a PayPal, I have a Venmo, and there's also a thanks button here on YouTube. If you want to support this channel on a more permanent basis, I have a Patreon that you can check out as well. Your financial support is super, super appreciated. It literally helps my family pay our bills. So I'll be back real soon with a video from my garden here in Portland, Oregon. Thanks.